A few treasure hunters are in an abandoned castle. The treasure was unearthed. The guide found several broken books in the trash. He opened a book. I read it with relish, and he had no idea. Treasure hunters are afraid of leaks ready to kill him, but in a moment, a couple of treasure hunters tragically died at the hands of this guide, but you can't imagine it was that book that changed his life. Moscow in 1999. A strange man is standing in the rain with a newspaper on his head. Alec dreams of becoming an actor, but when he was about to apply for a visa to the United States, but was subject to high deposit fees blocking the door to dreams. Frustrated, he went home. I accidentally saw my mother's eyes wet. Mother told him it was nothing, it's just a guest in the house. When Alec entered the house, he realized that it turned out that his father was here in his memory for more than 20 years. The father appears every 2 years. Every time, it's an alcoholic's way. Appeared in front of their mother and son, then take all the money in the house, then disappeared without a trace, but this time it was different. His father said something strange to him. I left him a letter when I left and told him to keep it safe. Not long after, the mother received a telegram. Alec's father died of his injuries and left him some legacy. See the telegram. The father left an apartment for himself. He was so excited. Pack your things. He left home with the letter his father had left him. Just sell this apartment. He can go to America to realize his dream of being an actor soon. He arrived at the address on the telegram. Find the administrator. Arrived at the door of the apartment. He also expressed his intention to sell the house as soon as possible. As a result, someone rang the doorbell. Here at night, Alec opened the door. 2 strange men appeared in front of him. They claimed to be buyers. Come and see the house. The 2 of them walked around the house for a long time, but I fell in love with an old book. The man expressed his liking for the book. Then the man paid a high price for the apartment, including that book, and said he could take Alec to the station, put him on the train to Moscow. A few people just walked out of the apartment building. 2 strong men walked out of the car opposite. Alec immediately realized that something was wrong. However, just then a few more people appeared out of nowhere. They got rid of this group of people. See the scene in front of you. Alec passed out in an instant. When he opened his eyes again, found himself with the man who was going to buy his house. They were taken to another place together, and he sat down in front of a crowd. Woman Margaret shows they were all friends of Alec's father. Precisely speaking, they are all from the same library. Alec with a confused face. I have no idea what he's saying since he had just been frightened. Marjorie asks her female warrior Tanya, take him back to his room to rest. I have no idea what's going on. Alec asks Tanya the reason for the matter, and Tanya sat down in front of him. Told him the story of the book. There was a Soviet writer named Grom. Of his work seems to have a magical power. As long as you read his book, without looking up, you can feel it. The immense power of books so far. There are 6 books known to have magic powers. They are the books of power, the book of patience, the book of power, the book of anger, book of joy, and book of memories. It is said that there is also a book of meaning, but no one has found his whereabouts. Yet Alec had the book of wrath. Tanya says the book is dangerous. If not prepared, it is better not to read. Alec felt like this was nonsense. He thinks these people are crazy. Just then shouting came from outside. Tanya didn't know until she ran out. They just caught the guy, got away. Marjorie said that the arrest was left to others. His job is to take care of Alec. However, when he returned to the room, I just found out that Alec is gone. It turns out that Alec took advantage of him. When he went out, quickly escaped the camp. He dashed all the way to the police station, called the police that bandits were after him, but the police didn't believe what he said. Then he took the money out of the bag, asked the police to help him buy a ticket back to Moscow. See the dollar on the table. The police also chose to compromise, and they put him in a cell. I also prepared a new set of bedding for him and said the earliest train would be tomorrow morning, so they let Alec spend the night here. First, I'll take him to the train station tomorrow morning. However, he was so shocked that he couldn't sleep at all under the faint candlelight. He read the book of anger. Not long, an officer enters the cell with 2 of his men and pointed the gun at Alec. It turned out that they were also here for the book of rage, but they never thought catastrophe is imminent. Not long after, Marjorie came to the police station, and he walked through the door, and there were bodies everywhere. The bloodshed was horrific. When he came to the cell, I saw Alec covered in blood. Trembling in the corner, there was an extremely frightened and glazed look in his eyes, and he had no idea. The weird thing for him is just at first, the man read a book, blooded the entire police station. In order not to escalate the situation, Marjorie contacted the council. Alec in shock, still don't believe he killed someone. I just remember that some kind of power seemed to hypnotize him. Marjorie came to him, tell him it's not his fault because of the book he read, endowed him with mysterious powers. However, just then a yellow truck arrived here. A few people got out of the car, walked into the police station with cleaning tools. They are cleaners sent by the committee, specialized in handling such exceptional events. Soon after, Marjorie takes Alec back to the camp. In the TV news, they saw the press coverage. Everyone in a police station all disappeared overnight. It can be seen from the TV screen. The police station was cleaned up very thoroughly. Not a drop of blood was left, although Alec escaped. But it's far from over. This has alerted the library board to save his life. Marjorie asked him to speak at the council meeting, testify against Marchenko, the head of another library, using improper means to steal the book of rage. Although Alec couldn't understand what he was saying, but in order to survive, he can only follow Marjorie's orders in the evening. Everyone came to the venue. Shaggy told Alec about the organizational structure of the library. To be precise, the library is a vast and mysterious organization. There are several factions in the organization. Each faction calls itself a library. They all have a magic book in their hands. The person responsible for keeping the book, the leader of this faction, also known as the librarians of this faction, Alec's father is the leader of his faction. And those who can understand the essence of the book, people who can demonstrate great energy, will be elected to a position on the board. The current board of directors has only 3 members. The bearded Raggedov is a diplomat on the council because he realized the power of the Book of Joy. So he has a steady stream of money and can solve any problem with money. Redhead Shevchina is an advisor to the council. She relies on the Book of Memory. He was in charge of the council's culture and education. The most awesome is the last one. Serga relies on the Book of Strength. She ruled the entire library at this point. The bearded man asked the representatives of both sides to speak on stage. Margaret comes on stage alleging that Marchenko sent someone to violently seize the Book of Rage and tried to bribe the police to kill Alec, but Marchenko completely denied that he did it. Due to the long-standing contradictions between the two parties, the people below the venue also began to quarrel, but with the president of the council, Serga, issued a warning. Both personnel returned to their seats uncontrollably. While Alec was still wondering, Shaggy told him that this was the power of the book. However, just then Alec also inadvertently saw Serga had blood coming out of his nose. So what's going on here? Since neither side has actual evidence to accuse the other, finally Serga announced the 2 libraries settled their dispute in the traditional way. Each side dispatched 20 men to participate in the battle. The loser will be disbanded and hand over the books they keep to the winner. And the next day, Madrid brought the crowd to the dueling arena. When both parties say they are ready, Serga on the hillside made the host smoke a book as an energy blessing for this fight. In the end, the host drew a book of patience, and everybody was relieved. With this book, blessed them to let go of their hands and feet to fight. Because of the power of this book, it's pain-free. But when the host said when the duel ends the conditions, Alec was immediately dumbfounded because no one told him the duel ends with killing the opponent's administrator, and he's the manager of the team now. As the gong sounds, the battle between the two sides also began with passion because the regulations do not allow the use of firearms, bows and arrows, and other weapons. People on both sides threw cold weapons at each other. The brutality of the fighting nation, it was most vividly reflected on the battlefield. Alec, who was being protected, stood at the side stunned. A few minutes passed. There are almost no personnel left on both sides. At this time, Marchenko took out the soldier who protected Alec. She walked in front of him with her knife in both hands. I've never seen Alec fight like this, and ran to the mound. He also wants to climb the hillside, but was beaten down by the overseers. He has no way to escape. Pick up the stone on the ground and throw it out. Result, and smashed it on Marchenko's head. Look for opportunities. Alec quickly pounced on it. I fell to the ground and didn't forget to raise the sand on the other party's face. This wave operates. Marchenko is basically out of combat power. He accidentally cut Alec with a knife. Belt with book cover. Alec swings his belt and slaps him on the head. The moment you fall to the ground, Alec took the iron comb sleeve and smashed it at him. After a smash, Marchenko eventually died at the hands of Alec. The battle is over. Luo Shang wanted to withdraw. All the players. President Serga took the book and came to Alec. Alec experiences the first life and death duel of his life. He won by luck, also got a book of power. However, the council president Serga holds a grudge against him because he wanted the book of power for himself. So he secretly found the gang leader Lao Luo. He knew that Lao Luo had been looking for the book of patience. Alec's gang already owns 4 books, and that includes the book of patience. So Serga asked Lao Luo to kill Alec, retrieve all the books, and promised to give him the book of patience. Not long after, gang member Tanya, he was kidnapped by the gang. However, just when Alec and others shared the victory, a lawyer took the initiative to find the door. After the lawyer sits down, he took a bottle out of his bag. It contains 2 human ears, and said that if before 9 p.m. didn't show up in the abandoned warehouse with 4 books, then they will never see Tanya again. And not only that, if you don't hand over all the books, others have to die too. After the lawyer left, Alec suggested that we all read together, take out these robbers with the superpowers in the book, but Margaret told him they don't have the right. Because these people are outside their system, the rules of the library, it is forbidden to use superpowers on the outside world. See, Marjorie and others can't compromise. Alec left the camp with his belongings, but soon Margaret found out the original 4 books on the table. I don't know when one is missing. On the other hand, Alec called to meet with a lawyer and said he would hand over all the books. However, just before we meet, he has finished reading the Book of Power. When the lawyer gets here, Alec immediately tests the powers of the Book of Thrones. He had his lawyer put ice cream on his suit. Lawyers execute immediately, although the brain is awake, but the body is completely out of control. However, the next second the lawyer will understand that Alec is right about himself using the superpowers. In the book, he said it was illegal, but Alec doesn't care. He had his lawyer take him to the gang lair. Under the power of the Book of Power, lawyers can't resist. Then the two came to the gang's lair. The door just opened. Alec took control of the gangsters who opened the door, tell him to turn around and stand still. Then the lawyer knocked him unconscious. Then the two went upstairs, saw Alec come here. The gang members all stood up, but not yet. Stand still, a word from Alec. Let everyone lie on the ground, however. Just then Alec suddenly felt a sharp pain in his head. There was blood coming out of his nose. It turns out that this power doesn't last long, and people who use superpowers will invite backlash. The voice has not yet fallen. Alec was captured by the gang and locked up with Tanya. Then Lao Luo left here with his men and told his men to burn the Book of Power, kill 2 hostages. On the other hand, Margaret hides it from everyone. Came to the abandoned warehouse alone. He wants to sacrifice himself for everyone's lives, but Lao Luo didn't. By his account, ordered his men to arrest him. Just then, other members of the library are armed, rushed into the warehouse, but I didn't expect Lao Luo to have a gun in his hand. As a result, everyone who came was captured. Then Lao Luo put the rope around their necks just as he was about to hang Marjorie and the others. Alec and Tanya came in through the door and control everyone with the power of the Book of Power. Drop your weapon. Lao Luo couldn't believe they were still alive. Just after he led the people away, one of his men followed his orders. Prepare to kill the hostages. Unexpectedly, Alec broke free from the bondage, picked up a big wooden stick, and knocked out the gangsters. Saved Tanya. Also got back the Book of Power. The two are on their way. He read the book again. Then they appeared in front of Lao Luo. He caught Lao Luo with his superpowers and saved everyone, and he suffered a severe backlash again. This backlash is light and crippling or die, but to everyone's surprise, Alec actually relied on his strong willpower. Survived. He asked Tanya to put the rope tied around Lao Luo's neck. The other end is tied to the hook of the crane. As Alec presses the button of the remote control, Lao Luo was slowly suspended in the air. In the terrified eyes of the crowd, the powers of the Book of Thrones are gradually dissipating. Alec also woke up in an instant. Then he decided to spare Lao Luo's life, put him down, and he fainted from exhaustion just as everyone was about to leave. Serga brought people here and said Alec broke the rules and tried to take people away, but Margaret never gave him a chance because he knows the messenger behind Lao Luo is Serga, but Serga could only watch him take people away. Woman Xiaomei came to Alec's gang, asked for help. The Book of Joy they guard snatched by a gang of shaved heads. If Alec can come forward and help defeat them in return, May's gang will volunteer to join Alec's team and hand over the Book of Joy. Alec thought if he could get all 6 books together, he can get a seat on the board, but his idea was rejected by Margaret. Xiaomei immediately responded when she saw this. If Margaret hadn't come out to stop it, Alec's father, nor in the secret committee an hour before the meeting, killed. To hear this, Alec immediately agreed to Xiaomei's request. Then he went out and found Margaret. I asked him about his father back. Then turns out his father, and we brought together a group of like-minded administrators. He wanted to start a revolution, overthrow Serga's rule, dissolution of council, and open all the books to the world. He believes that the power of books can help more people, but just before the meeting he organized, but was killed in the apartment. Alec realized that his father must have been betrayed, and the person who betrayed him was on the team. Who could this person be? Soon the day of the duel will come. Just before the showdown, Alec puts headphones on Magri and played him a tape that she'd prepared herself 2 days ago. Alec, to everyone on the team, conducted an investigation before his father was murdered. Except for Margaret, everyone else has an alibi. This also proves that the person who betrayed her father was Margaret. However, just as Marjorie was listening to the recording, the duel has officially begun. Alec steps forward. Just for a second, I sent the other party's administrator to pick up the box lunch. Don't forget to remind Marjorie when you leave the camera. Turns Xiaomei took Alec to find 2 allies. They were all followers of his father. Now he has to fulfill his father's dying wish, but there is still one last Book of Power. However, there are only 2 copies of this book in the world. One is in Serga's hands, the other is in the jungle in the hands of a hermit. Then the crowd came to the edge of the woods. It is said that no one can come out of these woods alive, but in order to obtain the Book of Power, Alec had to walk into the dangerous place alone. Just as he was weaving through the jungle, accidentally saw a book lying on a tree stump. Alec instinctively raised his weapon and looked around, but I didn't find anyone around. He threw a wooden stick vigilantly, see if there are any traps. After seeing that everything is normal, he walked slowly to the tree stump. But when he picked up the book, I just found out that I was being played. Suddenly a figure appeared behind him. One hit knocked him out. When he woke up, I found myself tied to a tree not far ahead. A figure with his back against a tree appeared in front of his eyes. That person said, "Half a kilo of explosives." It has been placed next to Alec. Before he finished speaking, he lit the fuse and said Alec only has 40 seconds to answer his question. Correct answer can save your life. If you're wrong, you'll be blown to pieces. However, without waiting for questions, Alec made his intentions clear. His goal is to find the Book of Power, then fulfill my father's legacy. But when he said that his father had passed away, the man with his back against the tree hesitated. But the fuse is about to burn out. Alec wants to blow it out with his mouth. It just doesn't work. He can only close his eyes and wait for death to come, but the explosives didn't go off. When he opened his eyes, I found an old man standing in front of me. The old man picked up the explosives and told him it was a toy. Turns out he was the one Alec was looking for. The old man said I used to be the administrator of a miners' organization. Because of this book of power in my hand, he killed everyone. Now he lives alone in this forest. The book no longer meant anything to him with that. He handed the book of power to Alec and told him a secret legend. Who can read all 6 books will summon the last meaning. Once the book of meaning appears, will completely change the world. Then the old man got up and left. Here the camera turns. Alec has 6 books. At the general meeting of the council, openly declare that they want to overthrow the existing system. Advocates also applauded. Just then someone on stage has pulled out a curtain. Then Alec's man, long hair, came out from the side. Then he reported it to the council not so long ago. Alec killed a group of thugs. The main thing is he read the book of anger and get the power of the book in order to avoid people outside the system. Principles for using superpowers. Alec has committed a taboo at this moment, and his supporters have all shut up. As punishment, the council handed him over to the police. The man who reported his long hair was also appointed as the new administrator, but no one would have thought it turned out to be an orchestrated conspiracy. Long hair betrayed Alec after sending him to prison. He also took over the position of administrator, a change from the sloppy style of the past. Cut off. Long hair appear in front of everyone in a state of full energy. To maintain the unity and stability of the gang, he decided to leave the books in his hands for personal safekeeping, but only Marjorie was left out. Then Marjorie found long hair alone after Alec's father was murdered. He began a secret investigation. Finally, he found the murderer. This person is long hair. In Alec's previous investigation, all the clues point to Marjorie, but he didn't argue. No sound is because he's been waiting for the real killer to reveal himself. Now he lifted the veil of truth to his hairy face. The goal is not to clear the door. He promised that he would not tell anyone about it. But as a price, the book of power must be kept by him. Helpless, long hair can only agree silently. Soon after Alec was tried, convicted of murder, he was sentenced to life imprisonment. After the trial, Marjorie came to him, and then there was Tanya. Look at the blood flowing from your body. Alec fainted instantly in his cage in the courtroom. As Tanya read him the book of power, Alec also woke up from his coma with the help of teammates. The crowd escaped from the hospital. What Alec didn't expect was it was Margaret who picked him up too late. To explain the urgency is to get out of here as soon as possible. But before everyone got on the bus, long hair appeared in front of them with a gun. He would never have thought, I just became an administrator. The whole team betrayed itself. Then he named them. Let Alec kneel in front of him. He was about to shoot. Marjorie stopped him at once. Then I took out the handbag with the books from the car and said he wanted to exchange these books for Alec's life. Long hair discovered that a book of strength was missing. At this time, Tanya came up to him with the book. At the moment of handing over the book, Tanya slaps the book on Shaggy's hand. Alec and the others threw him to the ground. Time is running out. The crowd quickly jumped to the car, escaped from here. But unfortunately, long hair just fired a shot. The bullet hit Tanya. Coupled with the backlash of the energy of the book of power, Tanya ended up dying in Alec's arms pretty soon. The car drove to a remote cemetery. When the crowd got out of the car, I found a woman kneeling not far in front. When Marjorie walks up to the woman took her hand and broke down crying. However, no one knows what to do with him. Our comrade in arms, Marjorie, who has been with us for more than 10 years, but with an appalling identity. Chief of Makova. Makova used to be the most powerful gang on the surface, and gangs are made up of a group of old women. Legend has it that their leader has found the book of meaning so more than 20 years ago. Under the leadership of Surga, there was a fierce battle with Makova. Ultimately, Makova was defeated and he disappeared. Dorgan and others are on the battlefield. The leader of Makova was not found. I didn't find the legendary book of memories, but during a search of a boarding school, Alec's father found the dying Margaret and took him home as a victim, and in his hands holding a yellowed manuscript tightly. Alec's father used the book of memories, successfully evoked his memory. In his memory, I did find the book of meaning, and I read this book. But when he finished reading the book, I found that my memory had been erased. Only one word in my head, that's the last name of the Alec family. When he found out Alec's father's last name is the same, I chose to stay by his side and realized that the person the book was really calling was him. Alec's father was later murdered. He was also confused about it until Alec came along. He firmly believed that Alec was the chosen one, but now Margaret can't remember where is the book of meaning hidden. Only by finding the book of meaning can Surga be overthrown, save the world. The urgent task is to find a memory book as soon as possible to help Margaret awaken her memory. Soon after Alec was alone, came to the vicinity of Surga's apartment. After seeing Surga's men leave, he snuck into the underground passage. Then he went to the Sur's library. He was just about to take the book of memories only to find the book chained to the shelf. However, just then the bearded man suddenly appeared behind him with a gun. At the same time, Xiaomei was caught. The bearded man raised his gun. It's a shot at Alec. Xiaomei took the opportunity to break free with the gun in the bearded man's hand, killed 2 of his Men, then he bit the beard hard. Take off the gun in your hand, immediately fell to the ground. Then the bearded man released his hand. She grabbed Xiaomei's hair, slapped him to the ground. Then I put my hands around his neck, right on him. Xiaomei does her best, pulled out the dagger hidden in the shoe, push hard, turned around, and stuck the dagger in his head. The bearded man fell to the ground on the spot, returned to the west. Then Xiaomei helped Alec up. Fortunately, the gun just hit the shoulder. Then he picked up the gun on the ground, broke the chain, also destroyed other books on the shelf. Then the two quickly fled the place. The camera turns. Alec put the book of memories, got it in front of Magli. Magli was reading. A memory also slowly comes to mind, however. The person in memory is not Magli. He was a Soviet soldier in World War II. In a battle, he unfortunately lost his hand. Is another young soldier save him from the battlefield, sent to the hospital, and gave him a blood transfusion, and this young soldier is Alec's grandfather, the soldier who was rescued. It was Gromov who wrote the Book of Wonders at this time. Marjorie gradually woke up. He finally understood. Why is Alec the chosen one? Then he told everyone Book of Meaning hidden away in a secret library. When people asked him where the library was located, he fell into the memory again. After settling in with Marjorie, Alec called everyone. After analysis, he thinks that the library, very likely in that year, the boarding school where Marjorie was found, and the next day. Alec brings his men to the abandoned boarding school. Everyone split up for clues. He and Xiaomei came to a room full of mattresses. When Alec ripped the mattress off the wall, they finally made a new discovery. Route diagram drawn in different colors appeared on the wall. Finally, on a wall they found the secret passage entrance, and this is when all the members of the team arrived. After opening the door, everyone walked into the secret passage together. The other side, Serga also found Alec's whereabouts, so he gathered all the outlaws, prepared to destroy Alec and his team. Given order, the outlaws stormed the boarding school. At the same time, Alec with people has come to the depths of the underground secret passage. The result is in the tunnel. An iron gate stood in front of everyone just as they were about to open the lock. Serga brought his men, appeared on the other side of the iron gate. Alec realized that they were headed in the wrong direction. Under the cover of the crowd, he and Xiaomei ran in opposite directions. Two people passed through the tunnel down the stairs to the ground floor. After opening a gate, came to a bomb shelter, and they were surprised to find it filled with books. And here, it should be the secret library that Marjorie mentioned. Therefore, the two began to rummage through the pile of books for the Book of Meaning. The thugs on the other side have also opened the iron gate. Several teammates also kept retreating along the tunnel. At the same time, Alec and Xiaomei rummaged through. I didn't find the book for a long time. Then he came to a table, found a stack of manuscripts on the table. After reading a few pages of the manuscript, and then he realized this is the legendary Book of Meaning, because before this book was published, the author Gromov has passed away, so the book survives in manuscript form. Then the two people follow the page numbers, start looking for the manuscripts scattered on the ground. The injured teammate on the other side doesn't know. I'm almost dead. In order not to implicate other teammates, he told the others to get out of here, quickly stay behind to block the outlaws behind. Not long after, Serga came after him with his men. As a result, everyone saw Lao Imo kneeling alone in the water. Seeing that this group of thugs has come to him, old Imo pulled out two wires from behind the moment the wires connect, sparks fly immediately. After the thugs standing in the water were electrocuted, in an instant old Imo also died with them. At this time, Alec and Xiaomei have already sorted out the manuscript, but only the last page is missing. The two searched everywhere, but found nothing. Suddenly Alec remembered the letter his father had left him. When he took out the letter, when you turn the letter over, I just found out what his father left him was the last page of the manuscript. However, just as the manuscript was collected, all the lights in the bomb shelter turned red. They knew the enemy was not far away. To buy Alec more time to read, Xiaomei left here alone while Alec was studying. His comrades also died. And finally, Serga led the men to the door of the bomb shelter. Xiaomei is also resisting, losing all the bullets in the gun. And then Serga walked slowly up to his in front of him. Just as he was about to do it, behind him came a neat prayer. He puzzled. Serga turned around, and they all lowered their heads. Devout prayer. When he looked back, Alec suddenly appeared in front of him. He took the knife and stuck it in Alec's chest, but Alec didn't respond at all, and Alec grabs his head with both hands. When you take your hands off, Serga has become a lunatic. This scene made Xiaomei next to her look dumbfounded. Then Serga slowly disappeared into the crowd. Facing this group of thugs in front of you, Alec said a few words to them. Then everyone dropped their weapons. Then they all turned around and left slowly. Even the few people who were beaten to death by Xiaomei just now also came alive, got up, and left here. See, the danger has been lifted. Xiaomei wants to pull Alec away with her, but Alec chose to refuse, and he put his hand on Mimi's head. In a moment, Xiaomei calmed down, and Alec walks through the door. He went back to his desk and started reading again. With all the gates closed, he also stayed in this mysterious place forever.